Hello viewers, welcome to my channel. I'm Hasham Ali Khan. Last video I have completed 3 problems on accounting equation. In this video 2 more problems. Last video 1, 2 and 4th problem we have done. And in this video's 3rd and 5th problem I am going to do. So all these problems are based on the theory. One video I have explained you what is accounting equation and why the accounting equation will be used to record the transaction. This is the modern method of recording the transaction according to accounting equation method. Now, before starting the problems, I expect my viewers to have a printout of the problems which I have given in the link under my description. Always keep it ready. Take the screenshot of the points of 3rd and 5th problem, then I'll explain. Now, see the 3rd problem. Analyze the transactions of Messrs. Sahil and Company for the month of March 2022 on the basis of double entry system by adopting the accounting equation method. That means few transactions are given. These transactions are to be analyzed according to accounting equation approach and by following double entry system. Double entry means every transaction will affect assets or capital or liabilities like that. Now transaction for the month of March 2022 were as follows. Figures are in thousands. Sahil introduced capital through bank of rupees 4,000. First of all, for analyzing the transaction we require this table. Messrs. Sahil and Company analyzing the transaction as per accounting equation approach. 3 columns are needed at the extreme right hand side: assets, liabilities and capital. And here particulars I am writing which is given in the problem. The first is Sahil introduced capital through bank of rupees 4,000. The owner is Sahil. He has introduced cash, that is called capital, of rupees 4,000. When cash is coming in, the assets will increase. The assets will increase by 4,000. At the same time, when the owner invests the money in the business, it is called capital. So capital will increase by 4,000. The equation is all the assets must be equal to liabilities plus capital. We don't have any liability. We have only capital. So equation is satisfied. All the assets must be equal to capital. We don't have liability. That's all. Equation proved. Now second, cash withdrawn from the City Bank rupees 200. Sahil has withdrawn the cash from bank for office use. So cash at bank and cash in hand, both are assets. When cash is withdrawn from the bank for office use, then cash balance will increase and bank balance will decrease. In other words, we can say one asset increases, the other asset decreases. The total assets will remain same. So here cash withdrawn from Citibank rupees 200, so minus 200. Because cash is bank balance is coming down, because we are withdrawing the money from bank, so bank balance is coming down by 200, whereas cash balance is increasing. So cash increased, bank balance decreased. So both the effects will be on the assets only. We don't have any effect on liability, we don't have any effect on the capital. One asset increased, other asset decreased. So 4,000 minus 200 plus 200, 4,000 is the new equation. Liability is nil and capital is also remaining same 4,000. That is the new equation. Now third, loan of rupees 500 taken from Mr. Y. It's a liability. Loan taken. When loan is taken, our assets are increasing because cash is coming in. When loan is taken, cash is coming in. So cash is an asset. So it will increase the assets. Loan taken 500 from Mr. Y. Assets will increase by 500. At the same time, loan is a liability. In future, we have to repay the loan. It's a liability. So our liability will increase by 500. Liability will increase by 500. No effect on capital. Right? Only we have taken a loan, asset will increase and liability will also increase. Now take the total 4,000 plus 500, 4,500 is the new assets. Liability, earlier there was no liability, now 500 rupees liability. 4,000, no change in capital, 4,000. Now you can check all the assets must be equal to capital plus liabilities. So assets are 4,500, liabilities are 500 and capital is 4,000. So 500 plus 4,000 is 4,500, 4,500 assets. The accounting equation is proved. Next, fourth one. Salaries paid for the month of March 2022, 300 and 100 rupees still payable for the month of March 2022. So salary is an expense. By incurring expense, the profit will decrease. When profit decreases, the capital will also decrease. So one point, new point, remember, note it down immediately. When any expense is incurred, it will reduce the profit. When profit is reduced, capital will be reduced. So here 300 rupees salary paid and 100 rupees salary outstanding. The total salary of the month is 400. 400. So our profit, our capital will decrease by 400. So here you can see capital is decreased by 400. But how much cash is going out? 300. Paid salary 300. So assets will decrease by 300. At the same time, there is a liability. 100 rupees salary is outstanding, due. So this is a liability. So our liability will increase by 100 rupees. So plus 100. So what is the ultimate effect? Cash outflow, assets will decrease by 300 and there is a liability, 100 rupees outstanding salary. The liability will increase by 100 and the total expense for the month is 400. So 400 rupees will decrease the capital because every expense will decrease the capital. Over. Now new equation. 4,500 minus 300, you will get 4,200. 500 plus 100, you will get 600. 4,000 minus 400, 3,600. Now check whether our equation is satisfied or not. Assets is equal to capital plus liabilities. So these are the assets 4,200. Liabilities are 600, capital is 3,600. Add up 600 plus 3,600, you will get 4,200. Again, accounting equation satisfied. Last transaction. Furniture purchased rupees 500. When we purchase the furniture, furniture is coming in. So our asset is increasing. At the same time, cash is going out. We are paying cash. So one asset is decreasing. In simple, furniture purchased will be increase one asset, decrease another asset. No effect on liabilities, no effect on capital. Because when we purchase furniture, it is not expense, it is an asset. So here, purchase of furniture by 500, 500 rupees increase in furniture and 500 rupees decrease in cash, right? So 4,200 plus 500 minus 500, again 4,200 only. No change in liability, no change in capital. Same 600, 3,600. Now check whether our equation is satisfied or not. 4,200. Here 600 plus 3,600, you will get 4,200. Satisfied. So this is the method of analyzing the transactions according to accounting equation method. Now, next problem, fourth problem already we have done in the previous video. Now fifth problem. Show the effect of increase is equal to plus, decrease is equal to minus and no change is equal to 0 on the assets of the following transactions. Now it's just wants to check the student's understanding ability. What is the effect on the assets due to the following transactions? If the asset increases, put a positive sign. If the asset decreases, put a negative sign. If there is no change on the assets, put 0. And lastly, also give reasons for your answers. You should not simply write plus minus 0. Along with that, you have to write the reason why it is increased, why it is decreased, why it is 0 for each of the transactions. The solution will be like this. Serial number A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. H items are there. Then increase plus, decrease minus and no change 0 on assets. All these increase, decrease, no change we are seeing on the assets of the balance sheet. right? And here I have taken reasons, explanation about that answer. Now first item, purchased office furniture, payment to be made next month. When we purchase furniture, our assets will increase. When assets increases, put a positive sign. I have written positive sign. Because furniture purchased, assets increase. Payment has not been made. If payment would have been made at the same time, then assets would have been decreased. In that case, no change. But here it is given purchased assets, payment to be made in the next month. It's a liability. The payment is not made. So whatever payment is not made, that's a liability. But we are finding out what is the change in assets. So our assets will increase. The furniture has been purchased, making it an increase in assets, and also it being purchased on credit, it increases liability, and there is no outflow of assets like cash or bank. We are not purchasing on cash. If there is purchased on cash, no effect on the assets, but here purchased on credit, so assets will increase. Second point is what? B point, collected cash for repair services. The business is providing services, repairing services. By providing the service, they are getting the cash collected. When cash is collected, cash is increasing, so assets will increase. Positive sign. Cash has flowed in, or inflow of cash for services provided, making it an increase in assets. So by providing the services, there is cash inflow. There is cash inflow, the assets will increase. Positive. C point, sold goods on credit. When we sell the goods on credit, it will have double impact. Inventory is going out, goods are going out, so assets will decrease. Whereas debtors are increasing, supposing the goods are sold on credit. The goods are sold on credit. So here it is given in the problem, sold goods on credit. So here what is the effect here? Goods are going out and debtors are coming in. So both goods and debtors, both are assets. So one asset increases, the other asset decreases. For example, the goods sold on credit. The selling price of the goods is, let it be 80,000, and the cost of the goods is 70,000. So 70,000 worth of goods are going away and debtors are being recorded at 80,000. So one asset is decreased by 70,000, another asset increased by 80,000. So there is net increase in assets. Increase in assets, positive. So normally what will happen? The selling price will be more than the cost. The debtors are more than the cost of the inventory. Suppose if the goods are sold at cost, that means the cost of the good is 70,000 and we have sold the goods also at 70,000. So goods are going out 70,000 and debtors are coming in 70,000, no change in total assets. But this will happen only if the goods are sold at cost. Suppose if the goods are sold below cost, then definitely assets will decrease. Example, the cost of the goods is 70,000, but it is sold at 60,000, below cost. In that case, what will happen? The total assets will decrease because goods are going out 70,000, debtors are coming in 60,000. Both goods and debtors are the assets. Increase in asset by 60,000, decrease in asset by 70,000. In that case, the total assets will decrease. But here nothing is given. So we'll make the assumption the goods are sold at a profit. In that case, the total assets will increase. Right? Next, D point. Withdrawal of cash by the owner for personal use. When the cash is withdrawn by the owner for personal use, then what will happen? Cash is going out. When cash goes out, the assets will decrease. So here, D point minus. Here cash has been withdrawn from business, resulting in decrease in assets. And when drawings are made, capital will also decrease. because drawings will be deducted from capital. But we are not concerned with capital. We are concerned what is the effect on assets. The assets will decrease. So minus sign. Next, E. Hired an employee as sales manager for the north wing. Simply hiring a manager, hiring an employee will not have any effect on assets because it is only an agreement. It's a contract. We have hired an employee. So hiring an employee does not affect the assets. So minus. Outflow on only hiring, 0, no effect. 0 means no effect on assets. Only hiring of an employee has been done, resulting in no change in assets. Next one, F. Returned goods worth rupees 50,000. When goods are returned, goods are going out. When goods are going out, the assets will decrease. So minus. Outflow of goods has resulted in decrease in assets, while money owed to creditor reduce the liability side. So here the effect of goods returned are assets are decreased and the liability will also decrease. In the liability we have creditors. The creditors balance will decrease because we are returning back the goods to the creditors. But we are not concerned about liability, we are focusing only on assets. When goods are returned, the assets will decrease. So here minus. Next, G. One of our debtor agreed to pay his dues to Mr. C, who is a creditor of the company, with the same amount being due to him. We have a debtor, customer, debtor. The customer agreed that he will pay the amount to Mr. C and C is the creditor. Suppose A is the debtor, C is the creditor. A is informing to the company that I will pay the amount due to C. The company has to pay some amount to C. Now instead of company paying to C, one of our debtor has agreed to pay the amount to C. Then what is the effect on assets? First of all, debtor balance is coming down because whatever we have to pay to C, one of our debtor is paying. So debtor is reduced. So when debtor is reduced, the assets will get reduced. That is the effect. Assets will get reduced. So minus. At the same time, liability will also reduce because one of our creditor to whom we are not paying, one of our debtor is paying. So the effect of this transaction is debtor is increased, creditor is increased. Debtor decreased, creditor decreased. When debtor is decreased, our assets are decreased. Both assets and liability reduced by the same amount, meaning a decrease in assets. Last and final. Entered into an agreement with Mehta and Company to purchase the raw material from their company for the next year. Simply entering the agreement that we will purchase the raw material in the next year. Now it is only an agreement. So by entering into an agreement, no effect on assets. 0. No effect. Only a purchase agreement has been entered into with no transaction being taking place right now. Right now, no transaction, simply entering an agreement that will not affect the asset side. These are the explanations. So after listening all these points, definitely you will get more confidence on the subject of accounting and confidently you can face the examination and the first attempt itself with flying colors you can come out with CA foundation. So if you are satisfied, give a like to the video, share my channel, subscribe if you have not yet subscribed and buy the super thanks which is given below my video. Inshallah the next problem will continue in the next video.